More details on my mind expansion by spiritual matter, facts on my discovery, the prime motion. With this YouTube text, I want to describe some facts about my discovery, about that the change of human thought is real change and real energy, and that we all have such a real energy activity under potentially absolute control, which means that we are all able to perform true magic. So I came to my insights by experiments with my mind. I must say that before I understood the full potential of thinking, that my mind was already capable of enormous self-control, but I, like lots of other people, struggled in specific tasks. I tried to accomplish, for example, in defining myself how I want, or in channeling positive energy. Sometimes I felt even empty. It was then under hard circumstances that I had the idea of trying to find out how the mind absolutely works. So I analyzed my thinking and easily found out that it constitutes of two elements in interaction. This is to think and content. We all know that we process data, thought, and this is what I mean, this thinking things. I immediately realized the importance of these two elements, that they are always the build-up for our intellect, and that this is a pattern for reflection. I understood that something in this function has to be executed for controlling the thinking of things, which is the element of processing, activity which then automatically deals with content, this as the processing of thought. So I realized that the element of processing is the element by which one can control the activity of thought. With this element, all can be caused. Activity can, for example, be executed so that more thought is being processed, or to even raise the complexity of the form of thought. So mental activity is the key to improve our processing in any way, and I found out that activity can simply be caused. We just have to find what to do within. Based on this, everyone can raise his or her mental activity without limits. We only must use this function. I also realized that many paranormal effects are similar to the control of these elements. Furthermore, I found out that the thought can even be changed in its essence, not only in its shape, becoming something different than thought, like the material changing which it is made of. This insight gave me knowledge of that the basic energy can change in its essential being, that the different basic energies are yet not implemented totally into creation, but are partially present, and that the world is so much more than science can yet express. For people who believe that there is only one energy as basic material, kill the very essential part of the complexity of our world and of their perception. I also realized that some mind flashes which people sometimes see are essentially not delusional. For one can, for example, not deny his or her own existence if he or she is into it, and so it is with these flashes of actual energy. If you grasp into them, you have a proof like that of your own existence, but of essence of being, that we are made of energy, that we are all diving in the ocean of being, and our energy is far more easily to be accessed for a change than we believe. So mental energy, one of the elements of thinking, can be proven to be real by a person that knows how to deal with it. This is a truth, a knowledge, not a want to believe. For a developed mind has an enlightened intelligence to look into its own being. To the second element, this processing, it is true change. For one can by practice observe different mental energies coming into reality, and such creation of essential different magical energies includes the factor of creation, and this creation is of course again actually motion, direct caused motion. So all we can mentally experience bases on the change of energy, which people only know as processing thought, and as no other known reaction can reach such an intelligent creativity in creating essential energies than a direct caused motion. Being part of a thinking can, the functioning of the mind constitutes directly of real motion and of real energy. Now science proclaims often that change and energy are one and the same thing. But the truth is that the element of change is not the same as the thing existent. It is purely and only change. Change and the existent are two different elements. Like it is so in the mind, for no one would say that the processing is the same as the thought which is being processed, and only such element of change directly caused a prime motion, absolutely controlled by beings like the gods of Aristoteles. the prime movers, is able to give order to the universe for change, and being are the essential keys to all possibilities of existence. So my discovery that the change of thought can cause anything can be proven by experiments of those who try to control their minds by this change. An advanced mind can be a tool for energy experiments, even more efficient than a particle accelerator or any other technical invention. It allows an analyzation and deep direct understanding of things better than any machine could accomplish. Now, of course, are mostly all achievements of neuroscience right? For example, the explanations about thinking, and of course can the brain be compared to a machine. Of course can some things of the mind even be scanned by technology. But how the direct motion of thought takes place within is something which science, but makes us having a bizarre view of, is something which science actually proclaims as impossible. Science does not directly, but does proclaim the key of our very potential as an illusion, and this scares me. When a civilization reaches such a point of degeneration, where its science destroys its essential core by false knowledge, then this civilization needs either a healing of this core or many good inventions. For this activity of energy is a real part of ourself, as real as the brain, as neurons. We only must expand our minds. The greatest tool of all, to be able to feel that again and to understand how the soul fits into the body, then we can realize the wholeness of our beings is not machine, but individual, metaphysical entities. So as everyone somehow knows that we have to think, that we have to do that, this so that our thought comes into motion at all, and that this can simply be done. By this we can realize that motion is caused by just being motion, and as we are causing real change at things by this means that every being has by the insight into its thinking insight into a whole new dimension of existence, where thought and energy can be channeled in ways that we yet have but little control of. We should use this to connect to nature again, to become spiritual again. This in an advanced scientific way, a way of magic for our civilization. So motion and energy form an existential basic function. It is a basic truth from the realms of the gods, which we can but use if we understand it. It is now possible to use the change within the mind to manipulate any material objects, and I want to be a guide teaching mankind the basics of the use of this power for the purpose of healing its damaged core. For it is the actual possible failure of life to fail at our limits in all the ways possible, and the only way to outweigh failure is to by skill expand the usage of our potential of motion out of the area of limitation into freely dealing with energy to become spirit. One who masters the concept of energy in motion, of living the purely energetic self, has in truth all the magical abilities that the myths tell of, and a powerful skill not even understood by mankind's best thinkers to really master the force of creation. Imagine now that on the current course of action of teaching that we as race could lose the bit of efficiency in controlling all things in motion within our very minds that we possess. This would be a losing of ourselves, a process into oblivion even for the soul, a process which already begun, which we can but always stop. If we focus on insight, for the driving force of creation is its insight into this change of things. The form this source rise in curiosity and power. So let us not waste the spark of magic that we own. Let us further it again.